Out in front. 3. Oh!
Smoke early. And that's Joe Aramendia. Joe Aramendia in the 31, having smoke coming out of that. Number 31, the caution flies.
Well, these guys need to slow her down. The rule is that you just back her down as soon as the caution comes out. Nice, steady pace to the start-finish line.
Disappointing start for the 31 of Joe Aramendia. We're under our first caution for the Florida Dodge Dealers 250. We'll be back. One of Speed Channel's best shows is moving to a new time. Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain beginning February 16th can be seen at 10 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Thursday. As always, Dave takes your calls and emails live on virtually any racing subject. Stock cars, Indy cars, F1, drag racing, motorcycles, whatever's on your mind. Wind Tunnel Monday through Thursday at its new time, 10 p.m. Eastern. And remember, the Daytona 500 winner will be on Monday's show. And that could be you, Michael.
That would be nice. I'd show up for that. I was on Dave's show last night.
3-time Daytona 500 winner. That sounds pretty good.
I think I can get used to that. Shane came in and topped off with a little bit of gas. Phil, did they make a chassis adjustment? Could you tell?
They were working on the front of the truck. I don't know if maybe he ran into the back of somebody, and
or maybe just too much tape.
Could have had too much tape. It's hard to believe he would really overheat in 2 laps because they only ran 2 laps.
Taking a look at Joe Aramendia, and the smoke was rolling out from underneath the hood of that truck. That's why we're under caution 1.
Almost looked like a loose oil line, the way the thing smoked out the left front tire there. Maybe they can get that healed up and Joe can get back out there after it.
Because it looked like he came back to pit road under power. And these guys, if that happened off of turn number 2, there's no way he would make it all the way back around.
Field all in line. We remain under caution. We'll be back with more racing action after this.
Bump drafting gone bad there, it looked like. Dennis Setcher pulled up, bump drafted along with Travis Quapple and just about turned him sideways.
Coming out of turn 4, side by side for the lead. Terry Cook on the inside, Travis Quapple on the outside.
Oh,
and on the inside comes early. That's the 62 of Steve Park sliding all across the grass now.
Keep it going.
Bill Lestrade leaving the 22.
Good job. Take a look at that side when he comes by.
David
Watch
Starr
him coming out of the grass
Spears
there.
Manufacturing.
Oh, wow.
75 of David Starr. And he had problems on lap 2 of last year's race.
He's got a little damage to the front end of the truck, but nothing like the damage he had last year. So he should be able to get that truck patched up. And what a tough break for Steve Park. First time in a truck in several years. Unbelievable. This happened so early.
What Steve's trying to do is get back to his pit and
Steve, easy. Turn it around. Swing it wide, turn it around. Swing it wide, turn it around. Put 4 tires on it. We need to get the right front fender off the tires. Watch the right rear.
Let's take a look at how this took place.
Steve's in the middle of a 3-wide pack. You've got David Rudham, the 70, comes up the hill a little bit, gets into Steve Park. That knocks him into Bobby Hamilton. Bobby made some contact with the outside wall.
One of the fastest trucks in practice yesterday, Phil, Bobby Hamilton. We saw him get the lead early on the back straightaway. That's going to do a lot of damage to that Square D truck. Steve trying to get 4 tires down here in the pits before the leaders, before the pack gets back around here. I don't believe he's going to make it.
David Starr, the 75 truck, just a victim of search of the deer. You see the contact between David Rudham and...
It just looked like David came up off the corner a little bit wider than Steve thought he was. Steve had a little bit of room to the outside that he wasn't taking advantage of. I'm sure he assumed that that Rudham would stay dead on the bottom, and he didn't.
Yeah, here they are. They've already got together. You see Steve. That's what a great shot. That's what you see, Jack Sprague, and that's at 180-some miles an hour.
On board with Jack Sprague there.
I'm sure Bobby Hamilton probably will want to take a look at the right side of his Square D Dodge because he did make some contact with the outside wall.
I don't quite understand what happened there leaving the pit. Whether Steve ran the stop sign or what.
Steve Park being held 2 laps for spinning on pit road, we believe. We'll get an official report back from NASCAR.
Even though he did it on purpose?
Apparently so.
Spin's a spin. I guess NASCAR decided.
You might ask why Steve didn't just drive around the racetrack and come in the pits. Well, he had all 4 tires flat, and those tires will do some tremendous damage when you're riding around with the flat. And you got to remember that's 2.5 miles all the way back around the racetrack.
They had the stop sign out. You went through.
Yeah, I think Steve ran the stop sign.
They crossed the timing mark, I believe.
They may hold him a lap for spinning on pit road and 1 lap for running the stop sign, possibly.
And earlier, the first caution that came out, Joe Aramendia, having the engine problems, will actually be the truck that will get a lap back because of the caution coming out. He was a lap down. He will now get a lap back.
He's a couple laps down, so this will help his cause. Certainly.
Here we see Bobby Hamilton, Square D Dodge coming in the pits. Steve Park, the Orleans Dodge coming back in the pits.
Bobby Hamilton getting caught up. Bobby likes to run on the high side of this track.
Not that high.
Well, got a little too close to the wall there, but he had some help.
Yeah, he was
Steve Park back in to get some work done on the Orleans 62. And they're pulling the body out away from the tires.
Be interesting to see how many laps NASCAR decides to dock Steve.
Andy Houston getting some work done. Ray?
Hey guys, Andy was saying he is really loose out there on the racetrack, and we've been hearing that from guys all throughout the weekend, so they're going to make a big air pressure adjustment for him on the right side. The ASE Dodge is in. Guys go to work. Bunch of new crew members here. They said make sure you pack it full of fuel, and a couple of guys have been on the radio saying they're going to pit, but they're going to come next time. So I'm not sure. Was the pit road open there? Could you tell?
That's a good question, Ray. We see Bobby Hamilton's group taking a look at the right side of that truck.
They're stringing it. They want to make sure that the wheels are tracking in line there. They may have to do a toe-in adjustment.
You know, and if that truck was loose, like we're hearing a lot of people say, if it didn't knock the wheels out of a line, Phil, knocking the right front corner, that nose in some, will help that truck be tighter. It won't turn as well because it won't have as much downforce on the front end. So sounds like they do have toe issues where the wheels are askew. So see if they can get that straightened out and not go a lap down here.
And Ray, just to let you know, pit road was open, and Steve Park got 2 laps assessed to him. One of them was because of speeding on pit road. Wendy?
Well, I'm here at David Starr's pit. A tough start for him tonight. Of course, he got pushed off at the starting grid because his truck wouldn't start. Now he's been involved in this accident. He came in once already. He said nothing's leaking. The teeth leaking out. There was no hole in the radiator, but they came back around and they fixed the damage on the car, and they're back out on the track now.
You see the excessive damage on the left side of that truck in such an aero-important track as Daytona. We'll be back with more racing action live on Speed. Welcome back to the Florida Dodge Dealers 250. We're under caution number 3, and that was caused by the 99 of Carl Edwards. Let's take a look at what happened.
We saw the contact earlier, cut down his left rear tire, and around he goes. He was trying to get back to the pits.
And this brings out the caution flag. And because of the caution flag, we had even more problems.
They're just racing back to the caution flag. You see Robert Huffman, that's the 12 truck coming right across the racetrack. He got run into from behind. Looked like by the 08 of Ken Weaver.
See, Tina got down in the grass trying to figure out which way to go, and she gets loose and turns around. It's really a shame.
88 getting by.
It's a shame that happened. They were just trying to, they're not racing back to the flag. They're just trying to coast back to the flag, and Tina's motor won't start. Sponsored by Bassaret. That's underwear, I think.
That is correct. Women's
Ladies,
lingerie.
ladies, underwear. Exactly right. It's going to be really exciting to have 2 women full-time in the series this year. Kelly Sutton and the Team Copaxson truck did not make this field, but she will be at Atlanta, our next race, and it's going to be great to have 2 women full-time in the Craftsman Truck Series.
And Kelly Sutton had a great run at Homestead, our last race of the season, so we expect to see some great things out of her when she's able to make the field, probably in Atlanta.
And Tina's a consistent competitor too. I mean, she always runs right around the top 15, top 20 trucks. So got a great new sponsor, and
she's with a great team, Thor Sport Racing. Jerry cooks her. crew chief. Was Matt Craftsman's crew chief the last couple of years, so she's with a great team.
Now Carl Edwards back in again. How come?
Just continuing under this caution flag to tune on that truck. They got the right rear tire changed on that last stop. He had to go so slow, Rick. He wasn't caught up well enough. I'm guessing he came back in. I didn't see, but I'm guessing he came back in to get the other 2 tires so that so he could catch up without going a lap down.
Yeah, we obviously saw that he had a left rear tire down, so he came in the first time, put left sides on. Didn't want to take as much time to do all 4 tires because the field was coming. Came back in, as Michael said, to get the right side tires. Now he'll be good to go back in the lead lap. Fresh tires, and really, if these guys, I'm really surprised that a lot of these guys don't pit right now. We're 26 laps into this race, and we think the pit window is somewhere between 32 and 40. So I'm really surprised that a lot of these guys have not chosen to pit.
Ray, what do you think the story is on that? Can you dig around down there and see what anybody's got to say? Why didn't we see trucks on pit road?
Well, they've all said that the pit road is not open. They've had a person up on the top looking down saying the flag shows it's not open yet.
That is an excellent reason there, Ray, for those guys.
That's a pretty good reason. Now, a few people did come in. As you documented, the 99 was in. We see David Starr is in the 75, but those guys know they're going to be at the tail end anyway. Now, we do expect Dennis Setzer to come down, Mike Skinner, a whole bunch of others. We're checking out on what everybody's going to do here, and we'll let you know real soon.
Dennis Setzer running very well out in front in the Chevy Silverado, number 46. Mike Wallace, we had mentioned, changed an engine, went to the back of the field, has worked his way all the way up to second, running very well in that position.
Bobby Hamilton, the Square D Dodge, also coming back down pit road. They're continuing to work on that truck to try to get it put back together, get the toe end straightened out, because he's got such a great truck. And I think if they get the tires aligned, Michael, I think he's really going to have a good truck again.
And we're looking at the 08 of Ken Dreamweaver. In the 08, they gave him a black flag for not adhering to the caution.
He didn't slow down quick enough.
And he got into the back of Robert Huffman, we believe, and Robert got spun around.
You know, Bobby, we were talking about Bobby Hamilton a second ago. He was unable to keep up with that lead pack when he went back to green flag racing. But Phil, he only fell back 15, 20 truck lengths. You wonder if maybe he was just trying to fill out what that Square D Dodge was going to be like. And now that he's had a little bit more time to work on it and adjust on it, he could still yet be a contender. I didn't see enough damage on that truck to think that maybe he couldn't still climb back into contention.
I didn't either. And you know, he's a pretty cagey veteran, so he wanted to feel that truck out a little bit and say, hey, I know there's going to be another caution flag. Or if the truck feels fine after a few laps, then I know I'm going to, when these guys get 3 wide, I'm going to catch that pack anyway.
We just saw the red flag still for pit road, and Carl Edwards in that 99 had some problems, and probably why he lost that tire was zooming down pit road.
Now he got hit in the left rear. Well, that's why he zoomed down pit road, Rick. You could see right there, he just comes over on the 59 truck. LaJoy held his ground, but that has to be the fastest anybody's ever gone down pit road. Those guys didn't lose a spot.
Yeah, there's his tire came off. The tread came off the tire. It was already flat. And then he just trying to get back to the pits as fast as he could, because at this point the green flag is still out. He knows he's got to try to get back to the pits as fast as.
These guys are getting too aggressive, Phil, with this bump drafting. They're going to turn somebody into the wall, and that's exactly what happened.
Very hard. You see smoke coming out.
Matt Crafton had some damage there in the 6 truck of Kevin Harvick.
You got up pro outside. You're clear to the bottom, Steve. Come all the way to the bottom.
I just was commenting. I'm seeing way too much bump drafting. You don't need to be doing all that stuff this early in the race.
We still have 65 laps to go in this race.
A bunch of them don't have that many to go.
Yeah.
Like Matt Crafton's got some trouble there. I don't know if he was the bump drafter or just got caught up in the aftermath. Barely touched him. That'll do it at 180, 90 miles an hour, Phil.
Sure. Well, these trucks aren't necessarily completely under control either. It doesn't take much to get these trucks out of shape. And you see Steve there. He was. I mean, how many wrecks down do we see in the middle of the straightaway?
That's exactly right. It's uncalled for. Bump drafting has become way too serious. You know why they do it and why because they're able to do it. These trucks punch such big holes in the air. The trailing truck can come up and hit the truck in front and push him ahead. Done properly, it works great. Miss it a little bit, and you'll have what you had there where Steve got turned into the outside wall. Like, Ken Weaver is a rookie. I don't want a rookie bump drafting me. He just hit Steve too hard. and turned him into the outside wall.
Probably didn't hit him as exactly square like you need to keep him turning somebody sideways.
And he's a lap down on top of that. A couple of laps down.
See him right there. He was outside.
And he came across.
And he came across and hit him while he was doing that. And it just turned the right front of Steve's truck right into the outside wall.
How many wide are they back? They're 4 or 5 wide.
5 wide.
Trying to get through that mess.
And Matt Craftsman, the victim of circumstances there. He must have, I don't know if maybe in the aftermath he just punted somebody a little bit. We heard a little bit of his radio traffic saying that he thought that the oil pump belt had come off the truck. So you see
oil.
See how shiny his tires are right there. That's oil that's gotten on his tires. So it's probably going to be the end of his day. There you see how shiny his tires are right there. That's probably going to be the end of his day, unfortunately.
Truck looks pretty though, you know, with those shiny tires.
Looks like a show truck. Too bad for Matt Craftsman, making the move from the 88 into the 6, and having problems there at Daytona. Tune into Speed tomorrow for all your final Nextel Cup practice. The drivers will hit the track at 9 a.m. Eastern for 1 hour, and then be back on the track at 10:30 a.m. for final practice happy hour. It's the final time the drivers will be on the track before the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. live on Speed. Ray?
Well, great amount of damage down here to the Orleans Dodge for Steve Park. And Steve, I think the problem is your truck was white and everybody thought you were a ping pong ball or something. You were bouncing off everybody.
I tell you what, I mean, I know Daryl's up in the booth, but I mean, his guy needs a driving lesson too from Daryl, because he got us involved in the first wreck. Got us up in Bobby Hamilton, who had a great race truck, and it's a shame for him. And Ken Weaver, the 08 is all I know. Just turned me sideways, come down the front, and turned me into the wall in the back. So, I mean, the replay tells it all, and I'm just trying to learn who everybody is and trying to keep my nose clean. The Orleans Dodge, man, it was a fast race truck. I mean, we started 22nd and drove our way up into the top 10 and had a good race truck. It's just a shame we sit here now, you know. We still felt, even though we lost 2 laps in the pits, that we'd be able to gain some back. And
is it fixable?
I don't know. It's pretty tore up. I mean, it hit the wall pretty good. These guys on the Orleans Dodge are going to try to fix it. And just want to thank Michael Gahn for giving me the opportunity. We didn't want it to end up like this. Dodge is a great partner with all of us. And Jeff Waller, Waller.com. I mean, just really good people. It's a shame we couldn't put this Orleans Dodge up towards the front tonight, because it deserved to be there.
Okay, let's check in with Wendy.
Well, thanks, Ray. Matt Craftsman sits on pit road. His truck turned off. Let's talk to car owner Kevin Harvick. Kevin, what's the latest on the situation?
I think it knocked a hole in the oil filter, but Matt was doing a good job. We just got the same truck wrecking out there all the time, so we just got to get it fixed and make sure it's right, and so we can finish.
Kevin Harvick looking for his team to have a good finish tonight.
Very possibly, Phil, he damaged that engine getting it back too. They won't run too well without oil.
Well, they sure won't, because Matt obviously knew something was wrong, because he must have seen the oil pressure gauge go down to 0, and if you run those things very long with no oil pressure.
Wrecking off turn 4.
Oh, a big accident on turn number 4.
Mike Skinner, the 42. Ted Musgrave, the 1.
That's a super speedway crash.
Joey Clanton in the 40. Oh, man.
59 of Randy LaJoy. Looks like the 8 maybe of Chase Montgomery.
We saw the pole sitter, Terry Cook slide through that mess without any damage.
There's Bobby Hamilton getting going. There's Randy LaJoy. Look at the right front tire there. It's not supposed to be there, Michael.
Shortened up his wheelbase on that right side. Bobby's got some damage to the left front. Bobby Hamilton, I'm speaking of. You can see Randy there's in trouble.
Ted Musgrave, unbelievable. 2 years in a row, they've had problems with that Mopar Dodge.
Phil, you had to see that coming.
It was. The way these trucks are dancing around, and these guys, they're running 2 and 3 wide. There's Ken Weaver, Joe Aramendia, 2 and 3 wide. These trucks dancing around. This racetrack is not as wide as Talladega. Talladega seems like it's about 2 lanes wider than this one. There's just not enough room to do that.
Serious damage to the 8 of Chase Montgomery. Outside pole was his starting position. And his evening is done.
I'm going to say between 10 and 12 trucks, Phil, off turn 4.
See Shelby Howard, the 23 truck on pit road with a lot of damage. There's Shane Sieg, the 07 truck with quite a bit of front end damage.
And we saw Ted getting caught up in that, so it must have been a problem at the front, because Ted was leading the race.
Right front's rolling now.
Jack Sprague is backing down pit road with some damage. There's Jack Sprague right there, our 3-time champion back in the series full time.
Tracy Hines in the 88. You see that truck at the back of pit road. Mentioned the 40 of Joey Clanton also involved sliding.
The accident occurred about mid-pack, Rick. Somebody on the bottom of the racetrack. I couldn't really get an eyeball on it. Let's see a replay on it here.
This is the beginning of the accident.
Oh, it looked like the 16 truck of Sprague was up under Tracy Hines, Phil.
Yeah.
He had made a move under Tracy. Tracy didn't know he was there. Those trucks got together.
And it just slid them right back up in front of all these trucks coming. As you mentioned, it was mid-pack, but the pack was as many trucks on the racetrack. That's how big the pack was.
Ted Musgrave looked as though he was slowing down. He was leading earlier, just a lap before, and looked as though he was slowing down on the inside of the track and got caught up in all this. Maybe he was coming in for a stop.
You see Jack Sprague get turned around sideways, and the truck turns back around, goes back up the racetrack, right in front of all these trucks.
Wow.
And you can see what those guys see. Absolutely nothing. Just smoke.
Let's check out some of these guys that did a good job slipping through this deal.
Sprague got hit pretty hard there by Musgrave. There's Bobby Hamilton sliding around.
That's a track blocker, Phil. Nobody got through it.
Well, there's Ken Weaver coming in and hitting the 31 of J.R. Armendia really, really hard.
And we apologize. We would be showing you in truck cameras or onboard cameras, but again, I wanted to let you know the ceiling, the clouds are just so low over the track that our helicopter is not able to fly over the track to give us that coverage, and so we will not be able to bring those onboards to you. But
there's Andy Houston. I didn't know that he was in this accident.
Terrible damage for many trucks, and we'll get you updated on as many of them as we can.
That's 2 trucks in 2 days for that team.
Ultra Motorsports team. A year ago, Ted Musgrave lost a tire and it went right into the 2 of Jason Leffler, and both trucks were taken out in the same accident, and 1 year later the same thing happens.
Can you imagine 2 years in a row losing both your trucks in the same accident?
Randy LaJoy in the number 59. Problems as well. Caution number 5 came out because of this.
God. Vicious, Rick.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Florida Dodge Dealers 250 live on Speed. The crowd getting their money's worth. The big one happening as they came out of turn number 4. A lot of trucks involved in our 5th caution. They're still sorting out all the damage at the entrance to pit road.
Yeah, for that reason, pit road will be closed until they get all the debris and the trucks cleaned off. This is the start of it right here. You see the 16 of Jack Sprague. He's going to come down a little bit on the 88 of Tracy Hines, but it's not, I don't think it's a situation where he just turned left to come down. These trucks are moving around so much, Michael. His truck probably just went that way, and he had no control over it.
The 88 throwing smoke up, leading in front of this entire pack. Nobody can see what's going on.
Yeah, and Tracy Hines he was a victim of circumstance. He just was minding his own business right on the bottom of the road. And either Jack didn't realize he was under him and dove for the bottom, or the truck might have gotten sideways with Jack a little bit.
I believe that's Mike Skinner. That was just in front of Tracy Hines and made it down pit road.
I think Mike had some damage though.
Yeah.
There aren't many trucks that didn't have some damage from this accident.
Ray?
Well, you're right. There is some damage on Mike Skinner's Toyota, but it's on the right front. It's not enough to knock him out of this race, but they...
Well, we're working our 5th caution period here during the Florida.
And we hope that's not enough to knock Ray out of the race.
We'll try to get a look here.
Don't tear it all out.
We'll try to get back to Ray. Having a little technical difficulty with that microphone, but Mike Skinner. These are the trucks that were involved in this last crash.
It's like 15, 16 trucks involved in this wreck. Boy, when they're running so close together like this, it's just so hard to avoid something.
Add Bobby Hamilton to that list.
Bobby was definitely involved in that accident.
His crew should get overtime pay tonight. They've been working on that truck since they said go.
Mike Skinner was involved in that accident, so now we're up to what, 17?
There you can see Bobby got a little bit more damage this time. Be interesting to see if they've got anything left up there to put back together, Phil.
They've been working on this thing continuously since that earlier accident with Steve Park.
Battle of attrition.
Well, you can hang around and try to be conservative and be careful and do all those things to try to miss the wreck. Or you can do like David Rudiman's done. He's charged. He's gotten that truck to the front. He's been stuck in the middle a few times, slid back, but he's always had a fast enough truck to fight back to the front. He was running second when that wreck takes place. He doesn't get involved in it. Ray, what's going on with Skinner?
Well, Michael, I had a little wreck here too with my equipment, but we're back online. And Mike, it looked to me like things were pretty wild out there. I guess you saw that coming, right?
Yeah, they'd been trying to wreck. For about 4 laps there, and finally got it done. This little Tundra was awful fast. I'll tell you, if this is anything to come, the way these Toyotas are going to run, we're going to be pretty good this year. This is one of many races. It's a shame. I really felt like we could win the race.
I was pretty amazed at how quickly you were able to get up to the front.
Yeah, I think it took us about 3/4 of a lap to get to second.
That's pretty good, but these guys will be back in the race, no doubt about it. They've got to secure this radiator here and do a little bit of work on the right front, but it's definitely not enough to put them out of the race. And we'll get you an update on Sprague here in just a second. He's behind the wall, not too far from where we're at.
We've seen a list of who was involved in the accident. Guys that weren't involved in the accident: Dennis Setzer, David Rudiman, Frank Kimmel, John Wood, Carl Edwards, Travis Quapple, Jeffrey Bodine, Shane Meal, Mike Wallace, Chad Chaffin, Terry Cook, Rick Crawford, Bill Lester. All of these guys still on lead lap. Wayne Edwards, David Starr, Randy McDonald, Bobby Hamilton having a little damage, Stedman Marlin rounding out the trucks that are still on the lead lap. 18 in all.
The outside, there's Frank Kimmel back, and remember he made that late pit stop. He's trouble.
John Wood just was down on the inside of Frank Kimmel.
You all right? Hold on to her.
Caution flag flies. That's caution 6.
Rolling. Keep her rolling.
Isn't it great that that NASCAR and this speedway has paved that area coming off turn 2 there? If that would have been grass, there's no telling where that truck would have landed, but they had enough asphalt. It scrubbed off enough speed. John straightened that truck out, never even had to stop.
He needs to keep that thing slowed down, though. Those tires are severely flat spotted. He gets up too much speed, one of them blows out, and it'll rip the fenders plumb off that truck.
I think this will take the pit strategy out of the window, out of the situation, though, because all the guys that could not make it will come in now on this caution flag, and there's no question they'll be able to make it all the way.
Take a look at how we are under caution number 6.
John just got sucked around there. See that?
Yeah, just got loose, saved it, caught it one time, but the second time he couldn't quite save it. No contact from anybody, but did a pretty good job driving through the infield there. Thing turned around on him. He's going to straighten back out and never stop and get right back on.
He tried to stay off those brakes as much as he could, so not to flat spot those tires any worse than he had to, knowing that if he didn't hit anything, he needed to get to pit road and get some more tires. Rudiman there, checked up, missed the 50. He's had an eventful evening for his first trip to Daytona. He's seen it all, I think.
He's gonna say, I hope the second time I come to Daytona is going to be a little less eventful.
Check him out.
It's amazing when you have a truck on the outside of you like that. It just drops so much air off your rear spoiler. It just pulls it back into that truck around.
You hear the tires light up. You know, you're turning 7,500 RPMs, and you hear the back tire.
That's a bad sound.
You know you're in trouble. You don't even have to feel anything. You can tell by listening.
John Hardy has come in, and he's back out onto the track. We've also been told that the 2 of Andy Houston, the Team ASE CarQuest Dodge driver of number 2, Andy Houston, has been released from the care center. Ray, what's going on?
Well, guys, John Wood was instructed to come down pit road because they knew they had flat spots on that right side, so they didn't want to go around the track and have a chance that those tires would blow out. If they did that, then they would rip the fenders all up. So Wood came up.
Let's look back at Shane Meals' problems.
There he is right there on the inside. Oh, there was some contact right there, Michael. And he got him sideways, and when he got straight, he was just aimed towards the infield. He did a great job. Now, instead of panicking, he just held onto the steering wheel.
Got a problem in turn number 1. That's Tina Gordon in the Vassarette 13. Problems continue for Tina Gordon. I believe she might have cut a tire. Caution flag number 7 coming out.
72 truck of Randy McDonald's being posted on the board. That means he's being black flagged. You see Tina moving around in the truck. There's some damage to the truck, but not significant.
Randy McDonald's engine has blown up. He's just barely making it around the track.
Probably is not maintaining the proper speed. That NASCAR will figure out what speed, some percentage from the overall lap time speed. If you cannot maintain that speed, you have to get off the racetrack, and I'm sure that's what's wrong with Randy McDonald.
Frank Kimmel, who stayed out, didn't take tires, you see, and Wapple have managed to maintain the top 5 spot. And David Starr has his crew has tuned that thing up, worked on that Chevrolet, and he's running in the top 5. Those crews, the 75 and the 4 crews, they deserve a tremendous amount of credit for putting those trucks in a competitive state.
They sure do. You see Tina driving her truck back towards the garage area.
Carl Edwards leads the Florida Dodge Dealers 250 in his 99 Ford. Mike Wallace just behind him in second.
Halfway.
He'll have them buried, and then it won't matter what caution they get. They won't be able to make up what he gains on them.
Bobby Hamilton started the race, the 3rd lap, his fastest lap. So when he comes in, into the wall in turn 3,
it's Rick Crawford right there.
Golly.
The whole front end off of that number 14.
A couple more trucks on the back.
Tina Gordon.
That's a bad crash.
13. Yeah. So our first caution comes out at lap 45. Rick Crawford sliding into the infield.
His throttle's hung.
Throttle's hung. We caught a glimpse of Hank Parker Jr. in the 21 Toyota also.
And if his throttle's hung and he's not shutting it off,
his tires are not moving
just
now.
Stopped right now.
Just got her shut down.
Look how quick that safety crew is there already.
That was a terrible crash.
Now you see why we don't race back to the flag anymore. That safety crew is there immediately.
That's why no matter what controversy comes out of caution flags falling in the middle of pit stops, racing back to the flag is a thing of the past, and we're all happy about that. They're right there tending to Rick.
Also tending to Tina Gordon on the backstretch.
There's another truck on the inside of the backstretch.
That might have been Hank Parker Jr. I caught a glimpse of the 21 truck on the inside of the backstretch.
We saw this truck right along the wall. You had mentioned the throttle sticking. He moved back into the infield.
That is Hank Parker Jr. right there, the Sports Clips Toyota.
Wow.
And Hank's out of, you see Hank now out of the truck, but the safety crew's attending to him.
You talked earlier in the open of the show, Michael, that this is a fast racetrack, and when you hit something here, you hit it hard. That was a major crash right here.
We'll come back to Atlanta Motor Speedway and give you all the updates on everyone involved. The Easy Care Vehicle Service Contracts 200, 46 laps underway. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. We are under caution number 1. There were 3 trucks involved in an accident. Tina Gordon got a little bit sideways, and then Rick Crawford, and you see Tina Gordon 13 right there, loaded on the hauler. But the other truck that was involved was the 21 of Hank Parker Jr. Now, we've seen Rick Crawford and Tina Gordon get out of their trucks. We've seen Hank Parker Jr. get out of his truck, but they're still attesting to Hank Parker Jr. right now.
He got out and laid down, so I think we're going to go red here so that they can attend to Hank.
let's look back at how this all happened.
Up off turn 2, you'll see Tina Gordon get sideways exiting the corner. Does a nice job of not spinning out, but just can't ever control the truck, Phil.
Never can catch up to it. Now she's got the brakes locked up to try to stop that truck, but she stops in the middle of the racetrack. There comes Rick Crawford right behind Dennis Setzer in the 46 truck. Could not see her, never saw her. Clipped her, turned her in front of Hank Parker Jr., who made severe contact on the inside, and it kind of slid down to the inside wall.
And Hank would have missed her had Rick not hit her, but Rick hit her, bounced her over in front of Hank, and then Hank just took a terrible shot head on right into the left front corner of Tina's truck. You can see it there. Ooh.
Whoa, and you could hear it too.
See, Rick couldn't see. Rick was right behind another truck. He peeked out behind the other truck to see what was going on. Boom, there's that Tina.
That's Dennis Setzer, the black truck. He gets by, and then Rick comes along. He was just peeking out to take a look and made some hard contact. And that turned her towards the inside of the racetrack where Hank Jr. was, and he made some hard contact.
Nice.
Take a look at what happens to Rick Crawford.
Whoa, he hit the outside wall there. Gosh, his throttles hung because by the time he got into the infield, his tires were still spinning. So right now, I think his throttles completely hung, and he's certainly dazed, if not knocked out, Michael.
It's just you're going so fast. I mean, he wrecked over there in the middle of the back straightaway. He's clobbered the wall since then, and just now comes to a stop on the front straightaway. That's how bad the wreck was.
The red flag has just come out. Dennis James showing the field the red flag, so the trucks will come to a stop in turn number 1. We're going to head off to break. We'll be back to let you know how all of the participants in this first caution are doing. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway here in Hampton, Georgia. Red flag has come out, and so the trucks have come to a stop in turn number 1. Let's take a look at how this caution happened and why we're under red flag conditions.
We're looking up the back straightaway, Rick, at turn 2, where the safety workers are cleaning up the mess that was caused when Tina Gordon lost control of her truck exiting 2. Did a nice job saving it, but then just couldn't hang on to it. And watch Rick Crawford. He just doesn't see what's going on. He's getting ready to run into the back of the truck. Setzer, the truck he was following, he peeked out not to do that, and Tina was there. Check him out.
Another shot of it there. You see Dennis Setzer, the black truck, get by. Rick peeks out, just catches Tina with a left front corner of his Ford. And man, then Hank Parker Jr. hits her very hard in the left front of her truck, and it sends him into the inside wall.
Look at the damage on the front of that truck. I mean, it's caved in back past the front tires.
You could hear it from that speed shot there when Rick Crawford. Watch him. He's just gonna peek out here.
I think maybe he was going faster than Dennis, and maybe turned a little bit to avoid Dennis, and I'll be darned if Tina wasn't sitting there.
Boy, oh boy, that was a hard hit.
And how fast was Rick Crawford going? 185 miles an hour coming out of there?
Fast.
175 miles an hour anyway.
Look at that. That's after he's already hit her, just pounding the outside wall up in turns 3 and 4. Look at that truck. There's nothing left to the front of it.
That lick there, Michael, probably hurt more than the initial lick, because at least when he hit another vehicle, it turned her around and everything, so it absorbed some of the energy. Nothing absorbed.
NASCAR was looking at debris, and sure enough, and Joey Clanton has problems, gets into the wall.
Oh, wow, turn 1. I told you he was having trouble keeping that.
That is
truck
huge
straight
for Bobby Hamilton, Michael. That is the break he needed. Now we're 86 laps into this race. We've got about 44 laps to go. I think almost everybody should be able to make it on fuel from here. One more pit stop. Bobby Hamilton's going to be able to drive all the way around this racetrack, pull right up behind the lead lap trucks, and he's right back in this thing.
It's also a break for Kenny Schrader. He gets the free pass around and puts himself back on the lead lap. He wasn't able to unlap himself on the track like Hamilton, but he took advantage of the rule that gives him the free pass around.
Not only does Bobby Hamilton benefit from being able to move back to the back of the lead lap, but as you well documented, he's running fast. He's running very fast. He's going to be able to catch these guys if he has enough time. Mike Skinner has led 46 of the laps here. Bobby Hamilton at 34. David Rudiman led the first 7. Those are your only 3 lap leaders so far today, and we're under only our second caution of the day.
Boy, what a great battle we had for the lead there, though. Those guys were just changing lines and doing everything they could. You know, people might think that Skinner was just kind of taking it easy, saving his stuff. He doesn't know how to do that. All he knows how to do is go wide open. So you can bet he was giving it all he had. And Rudeman was right there behind him. His second truck race. Skinner's been in hundreds of truck races. His second one, he's just trying to figure out how to pass the guy.
Now, where do you see the benefit here? Does Mike Skinner benefit from this caution, or does David Rudeman benefit? Is this a crew chief caution right now?
As they come down pit road right here, it levels the whole game. Everybody's on the same tires from here to the end of the race. It's the perfect scenario for the TV viewers at home, the fans in the stands, and indeed for the teams as well, Wendy.
Well, the 42 is in for 4 tires. They were a little loose on both sides. They made a half-pound air pressure adjustment, but they not a whole lot of adjustments for Mike Skinner going to the 17. And David Rudeman, he was getting too tight. He wanted to breed up. They take 4 tires, 2 rounds away. Left side, go to Ray.
Wendy, on the bottom of your screen, you see Travis Quapple's Line X Toyota. They wanted to go 1/2 round down on the track bar and just a 1/2 pound of air pressure out of the right rear. Travis will head back to the racetrack, but he will be 3rd in line. 3 Toyotas get off of the pit road in order. It was Skinner, then Rudeman, then Travis.
The teams all held serve. Nobody gave anything up there. The first 3 guys come back out right up front. There's a Dodge right there that's got all kinds of plans to mess up this Toyota party they think they're having up in the front, doesn't he?
I want to mention that Ted Musgrave was able to pit there. Ted Musgrave, I said earlier that he was being shown as a lap down. He is now being shown back on the lead lap. I thought he was on the lead lap. I couldn't understand why they were showing him a lap down, but he is on the lead lap. He was able to pit with the leaders. And again, as Michael said, it's a level playing field right now. May the best man win.
We're under our second caution, and the reason for that, Joey Clinton in the 40 got into the wall in turn number 1. We'll be back with more racing on Speed. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Dennis James showing us the 3rd caution of the day.
That's the reason why.
Wayne Edwards in the 93 is the reason. Let's take a look.
Oh, wow, look who's right behind him.
Ken pulled up behind him, took a little air off his spoiler, and around Wayne went. He did a great job keeping it out of the inside wall here. He got going straight again, but Schrader had an eyeful of that, didn't he?
We got to ask Schrader what happened.
Let's take a look at what Ken Schrader saw.
And let's see if what he says happened is consistent with what did happen.
This isn't fair. Here's him off the throttle.
Whoa. That had to just surprise the heck out of Kenny. It looked like that cat was just riding along, minding his own business. Schrader, I got to know what you thought when that boy spun out.
Well, I didn't help that boy none, but I got up behind him. I started to go underneath him, Mikey, and it loosened him up big time, and there wasn't much I could do. I just kind of hold up, but I was slowing up pretty much because these trucks don't spin real quick. You know, they catch all that air, and it's a slow slide, so I knew I'd have to get slowed up, but man, I hate it for him, but I was going underneath him.
Yeah, the video from your truck there exonerates any wrongdoing that you might have been blamed for. You were clean on that one.
You stick up for me, buddy, and I'll stick up for you, okay?
A couple of guys in the shape we're in need to look out for one another.
We're covering each other's behind, that's for sure.
Take another look from Kenny Schrader's vantage point.
Watch the closing rate that Kenny puts on the truck of Wayne Edwards, and it just started stepping out on him. I'm not so sure Kenny even took the air off yet.
Kenny was going to drive by. You could see him preparing to drive by on the inside, and unfortunately around Wayne went. Some trucks making some pit stops here. The 46 of Dennis Setzer cleared him.
Mike Skinner takes the lead from Bobby Hamilton. I can't.
Oh, problems with Steve Park sliding down the infield.
Ball, Steve. Put it to the
What you're doing. We'll be out. No caution yet. Caution's out. Wave them off.
Mike Skinner has the lead.
Mike Skinner, when a caution comes out, they freeze the field. Mike Skinner is your leader. We do not end under caution. That is the one unique thing about the Craftsman Truck Series. We will never end with a caution flag.
Well, this is going to be a quickie yellow. Not much is going to happen here. They're going to line them back up and try to decide who's going to win this thing. And I didn't know I could get any more tense than what happened at Daytona, all the action going down there. And here these cats are stacked up 6 deep trying to figure out who's going to win.
Robert Huffman started on the outside pole in that number 12, had problems, got into the wall, coming out of turn number 4, and you see him resting now on the track.
He and Steve got together there. You see Robert's going to make contact there at the outside wall. Steve, I don't think made any contact, got her straightened back out and kept going. But tough break for Robert Huffman, doing a terrific job here running in the top 10 in his Toyota.
Have to try to figure out what happens here.
Take a look at that again.
Oh,
yeah.
Robert got in the wall, bounced off, and Steve wasn't, you know, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Nothing Park could do there.
2 races in a row now for Steve Park. Nothing he could do, just got moved out of the way.
Well, he'll be fine on this one, though. He didn't receive much damage. He'll be able to race into the top 10, I think. He's got a pretty strong truck. He's done a good job all day long. He just was a victim of circumstances there. Robert lost the front end on that truck and slid into the outside wall, bounced off and caught Steve.
Let's look again at how caution number 4 has come out.
Okay, as you mentioned, just lost the front end coming off the corner there. That's where these guys are most vulnerable to lose the front end off the corner, and made contact and bounced off the wall into Steve. Tough break.
Can we go to break?
Let's just say a record crowd for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here at Atlanta Motor Speedway is able to watch, obviously, the first truck race at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
That's very safe to say.
But they are getting their money's worth here. They were on their feet when the green flag came out with 9 laps to go. I'm sure they'll be just as excited as you are, Michael, when the final green flag comes out.
This is my first green-white checkered. So,
and welcome to the Truck Series.
Wendy, what's happening?
Well, I'm here with Rick.
Bobby Hamilton made his passes on the high side, and here he goes to the top.
Side by side for the lead.
Dodge and Mike Skinner coming out of turn number 4 side by side. Here they come in the quad oval. It's Bobby Hamilton, Mike Skinner, and Bobby Hamilton will win the Easy Care 200.
Oh, what a finish!
What a job by Mike Skinner. Comes across sideways, still finishes second, and stays out of the wall.
Unbelievable finish.
A great day for Bobby Hamilton. He battled from a lap down, wins the race. A great day for Skinner. He gave it all. You saw what Mike Skinner was all about right there. He's not leaving anything behind. He's going to try to win this race no matter what it takes. And then you got the rookie Rudeman right there in case something goes wrong. What a finish.
I think Danny Rollins knew a little bit more than we did. He thought his man had something for him, and he did.
Rick Wren is happy. Rick Wren was going, yeah, that was a great finish. And Rick Wren's been involved in this series for a long time. He knows great racing when he sees it, and we see it right here at the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Ray, what's going on?
Danny Rollins is here, and boy, I'll tell you, that's why there's a big crowd of fans here, man. Congratulations on another great victory.
Oh, man, this is awesome right here. I mean, it's just, I just can't say anything. You know, it's just all the guys back in the shop. I like to thank them. I like to thank Square D, Lufkin Tools. I mean, it's just outstanding right here.
Congratulations, another great day. Danny Rollins, the winning crew chief for Hamilton, who's doing the big smoke out on the front stretch.
Something we don't normally see out of Bobby Hamilton, a lot of celebration, but I tell you what, his blood pressure's got to be running about as high as all of ours.
I can't wait to see Bobby Hamilton in victory lane. You're right, he's a little reserved. He doesn't get too far off center, but he has got to be jacked up. What a great job he did on that last lap. We got to look at it again, guys.
Let's take a look at the finish of the Easy Care 200 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Mike Skinner did not want Bobby Hamilton to get the outside of the racetrack. He knew how good he was, but here they are coming off turn 4. They're going to make contact.
Yes, they will. Mike Skinner moving up. Bobby Hamilton says, no, I'm moving down. Mike Skinner gets loose. Bobby Hamilton continues across the checkered stripe at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll take another look at the unbelievable finish. Mike Skinner, he came across the line second sideways.
Completely sideways. You see the contact there. Mike goes around. He stays in the throttle to keep that truck from backing up into the outside wall. That's experience for you.
David Rudeman in the NTN Bearing 17. A phenomenal finish. Finishes third. It's Bobby Hamilton winning the Easy Care 200.
I wish my car was shaped like a truck. That looks fun.
take, you can just about run flat out all the time. You get to 3 and 4, you get in the bumps, anything happens down there.
Yeah, it's real critical to have a good shock package when you get down here at 3 and 4. If you don't, that thing's going to take off with you.
Oh, we got a little bumping early on. Problems. And that's Robert Huffman getting sideways. And so does Steve Park. Amazing that Steve Park gets caught up in another accident.
I'm not sure Steve made any contact with anybody, so maybe he just flat spotted the tires and can continue. Truck looks pretty straight.
Yeah, I don't see any damage other than he got a right front tire flat from, well, probably all the tires are flat from flat spotting them on the slide.
That's Robert Huffman, the 12 truck on the inside. That's Todd Bodine, the 67 truck, Darrell.
Yeah, and he just got in that corner a little hard underneath of Todd, and he gets in the side of him. He spins himself out. Todd continues on, but here's where the guys do a great job. You're going to see the 62 now. He got punted by somebody. It looked like the 2, and that turned him around, Andy Houston.
We were talking during the break. We had happy hour last night from 8 to 9, but these drivers do not understand what it feels like to run with these big packs here on this racetrack. You might have been out there with 1 or 2 other trucks, but when you have all this air stirring around, Robert Huffman had that truck on the outside of him. It just pulls it back into these trucks around. The draft is so critical here, and it just pulls the back of the trucks around, and around they go.
Yeah, I got on Ruderman last night. I said, why don't you get out there and run with somebody? But there really wasn't anybody to run with. There were only a couple of trucks running together.
Problems with the 16 Jack Sprague throwing sparks out from underneath the 16. Blown tire.
Left front tire's down, Darrell.
Boy, he is. He's in trouble because he's he entered pit road too fast as well. No fault of his.
Don't worry about gas, guys. Just get it picked up this first time by.
The 16 truck, he's had worse luck than you guys can even imagine. There's even more going down on pit road. Of course, he had that cut left front tire on lap 15. And then when he came down pit road earlier tonight, he hit one of the cones on pit road. So he knocked in the valance. He had to come back in and fix the valance on the nose of that truck. Got back up to the 20th spot. We thought he was going to make a recovery after going 1 lap down, and now he has engine troubles. He is down a cylinder right now, and they're trying to figure out what.
Was one of 5 rookies that were in the top 10, and problems with David Ruderman in the NTN number 17. NTN bearings number 17 getting spun around. And so Ruderman in turn number 2 having problems.
It doesn't look like he made contact with anything, but he is going to be a lap down. Our leader, Jack Sprague, was able to drive by him before, obviously, David got back going. I'm not sure. It looked like a very close call for Carl Edwards, too. It looked like Carl was right in the vicinity of David Ruderman.
And so the first caution comes out in Mansfield. We'll clear it all up when we come back. This year.
Yeah, Bobby's trying to overcome that. We'll get spin.
Terry McDonald in the 72 gets spun around, and the field misses her as they go through turn 2. That's the second time we've had a spin in turn number 2, and that brings out our second caution. We had mentioned 3 females in the field. History for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Got Tina Gordon, Terry McDonald, and Kelly Sutton. So it's a great day for female race car drivers here at Mansfield. There you see right there, no female has ever had a top 10 finish in the Craftsman Truck Series.
Terry McDonald's best finish 26th at Loudon back in 02. Tina Gordon, I believe, has the highest finish in this field, 13th. She's done it twice. Nashville was the last time she did that.
They did it Charlotte earlier last year. There's a shot at Tina right there in the Microtel Chevrolet. That truck is owned by Duke Thorson, who's from Ohio. So that is some local flavor here. Probably the only Ohio-based team. Also a teammate to Tracy Hines in the 88 Menards Chevrolet.
There's the Copaxson 02 of Kelly Sutton, the 3rd female in the field.
I think David Ruderman is going to be the beneficiary of the free pass. He's, I think he's the first truck 1 lap down, so he will be put back on the lead lap.
We are under caution number 2. Let's take a look at the cause of that caution.
There's our leader, Jack Sprague, going underneath. Terry McDonald makes some contact with her left rear corner, and around she goes. Bobby Hamilton had a very close call getting by Terry.
And it looked as though you could see the smoke coming out on the left front tire, that 16, just before Terry spun around. It looked like he almost had to lock up the front wheels to get that thing to turn without hitting Terry.
Yeah, he was trying to avoid Terry. This thing, you come up so fast. This is a very fast, short racetrack. And when you come up on some slow trucks, you come up on them so fast that a lot of times they don't know how to react exactly which way to go when you're coming. You may commit to the bottom of the racetrack, and then they don't know that, and they'll turn like they're going to go to the bottom of the racetrack. So I think that was a situation where Terry was going to try to come off the bottom of the racetrack.
We're back here at Mansfield Motorsports Park, and there goes Travis Quapple leaving the pits. He came in for 4 tires, air pressure adjustment. They took 2 rounds out of the left rear, 1 round out of the right front. He was complaining they were tight through the center off. He said he was concerned with those other cars holding us up, but he thinks he's pretty good by himself. Guys?
Well, we're under our 3rd caution because of Kelly Sutton getting spun around in the Team Copaxson 02 on lap 50. Let's take a look at how that happened.
See Kelly right there on the outside of the racetrack. Jack Sprague got into Kelly, got in the back of Kelly. So that's the 2nd lap truck that Jack Sprague has got into. There's another look. That's the 59 of Mark McFarland on the inside of the racetrack. Jack, again, came up on him so fast. You can see the black marks. He was trying to get woed again. He just entered these corners so fast here because there's so much grip on this racetrack that I think Jack just misjudged it and ran into the back of Kelly.
Now, there's been so much talk about drivers in NASCAR being too aggressive. Will NASCAR say, Jack, will they get on his radio and say, Jack, slow down or be more careful? Or what are you saying this?
I think they probably would go to the crew chief, Chris Showalter, and say, hey, how about telling Jack just to calm down? We're no trouble over in turn 3.
Big crash, Tina Gordon, Terry McDonald, and it looks like the Goodyear 59 of Mark McFarland involved in that as well. Mark McFarland in the Goodyear 59 was the truck on the inside wall. That's Tina Gordon in the Vassarette Microtel Inn and Suites 13. And it looks like a little bit right front damage to the 59 of Mark McFarland. Let's take a look at what happened.
See them entering turn number 3 right here. Tina was way high on the racetrack and got a little bit loose, got sideways, and that just bottled up the field in front of them. You saw David Rudham in the 17 truck try to go between Terry and Tina, and Mark McFarland was against the inside wall there. See Tina on the outside of the racetrack in that orange truck. She turned sideways right in front of David Rudham, and actually I wonder if there was something down there on the racetrack because Terry McDonald turned sideways at the same time on the bottom of the racetrack.
Caution number 4 has come out at Mansfield Motorsports Speedway. We've completed 70 laps of racing of 250, and it's already been very exciting. Jack Sprague's up front. We'll come back. Watch racing.
The race dictate what you're going to do. If Jack Sprague was not able to hold.
Problems with the 08 of Ken Weaver to get spun around in turn number 2. That's the 3rd truck we've seen spin in turn 2. And so Ken Weaver brings out caution number 5 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Getting back to Jack Sprague, if this was a situation where his truck handling wasn't exactly right, then I think he would probably have to stop and may have already stopped. But obviously he has a great truck. I think Bobby Hamilton right now has a little bit better truck because he's able to drive up beside him. If Bobby was in front, had clean air, I think he may be able to drive away a little bit. But right now Jack Sprague's done a great job, has not made any mistakes, and has led every lap of the 81 we've run so far.
Well, let's take a look at why we're under caution number 5. Get Mike Dolan or bringing the pace truck, the 08 of Ken Weaver spinning there.
Looks like Chad Chaffin, the 18 Dickies Dodge, might have made some contact with Ken Weaver.
Chaffin was fastest this morning in practice, and his team owner Bobby Hamilton was 2nd fastest, as we had talked about in that practice earlier this morning. And in the philosophy starting up front, like a Jack Sprague or a Bobby Hamilton, has to be different. Side by side as they go past the start-finish line. Dennis Setzer getting by the 17 of David Rudiment. And Ken Weaver very hard into the wall in turn number 2. Backs it in as you see the damage to the back of the 08.
See Shelby Howard, the 23 truck. he was involved along with Tracy Hines in the 88 truck. There's Tracy Hines, obviously a flat left front tire on the 88 of Tracy Hines. This is another truck that several crew chiefs and drivers in the garage area this morning said that 88 truck is really, really good. He is one of the guys to watch.
Now, the mystery of do I pit, do I not pit? Does Ted Musgrave have to come in now, and Brad Keselowski and some of the others that didn't come in earlier?
They certainly don't have to.
D3, that first round of pit stops, they did not make any changes. They only took 4 tires and fuel. He said the truck is handling real well. He's complimented that they have a good gear and they're really pulling off the corner. So he feels pretty confident that the truck is going to be running well. Guys?
And we just saw Jack Sprague backing up as Bobby Hamilton and Dennis Setzer went by. Take a look back at that pass.
They got seized up right there. Jack got in the back of Travis Quapple, the 24 truck. Now they're going to go down in turn number 1. Jack got a little bit sideways, got in the back of the 18 truck, and Bobby Hamilton and Dennis Setzer are able to drive by on the inside. That's the first time Jack Sprague has been passed all afternoon.
Caution comes out again at Mansfield Motorsports Speedway. Debris on the track this time. It looks like possibly, I see the name Goodyear. Mark McFarland, number 59, had some problems earlier. Look at that Dodge Dickies.
That's Chad Chaffin. He was the one that Jack ran in the back of. That's obviously somebody stopped, it looks like, in front of Chad Chaffin. Let's take another look and see what happened here. There's Chad, the blue truck right there, right in the middle of your screen. See Matt Crafton, Hank Parker checks up because he and Matt Crafton made contact. That's when Travis ran in the back of Chad Chaffin, and then Jack ran in the back of Travis.
Started chain reaction.
Some of the fiberglass from probably the nose piece off of Chad Chaffin's truck.
Take a look at the onboard with Dennis Setzer.
Jack gets sideways there. That's after they'd already made the contact coming off turn number 4. When they get down to turn number 1, Jack got sideways, ran in the back of Chad Chaffin, and Bobby and Dennis were able to drive by on the inside.
So that Dickies Dodge coming in to have some work done. Ray?
Rick, they were worried that they had busted the radiator, but Chad says the water temperature is holding, so he thought maybe they didn't. They're going to try to put the hood down there, pull off some of this front grill, and see if they can get back out. You don't know. I don't see any water pouring out so far, so they're talking about it here on the radio, whether or not they need to go. Yes, and they do need to go behind the wall, is what they said. Now, as far as the 2 truck, the number 2 of Andy Houston, they have decided that they think he has a bad right front shock on that thing. I told you earlier that his thing just wouldn't turn. Dennis Conner, his crew chief, originally thought that they had broken an axle, but now they've decided that it is a broken right front shock. So he's in the pits, and he'll lose a number of laps here.
Well, the 100th start for Andy Houston, not a good one, as the Team ASC CarQuest Dodge having problems.
Yeah, that pass we saw Jack Sprague get passed by Bobby Hamilton. Dennis Setzer right there. That could have severe ramifications for Jack Sprague at the end of this race, because as much as Bobby Hamilton has tried to get by him, he's not been able to. So that could be a race-winning pass.
And welcome back. We'd like to welcome our men and women in uniform serving around the world and watching today's race on AFN, the American Forces Network. We thank you for all that you do. We hope you're enjoying today's telecast wherever you are stationed. And remember, America stands behind you every step of the way.
You know, we talk about Bobby Hamilton, Dennis Setzer getting by Jack Sprague. Travis Quapple is in the 7th position, and he only pitted 10 laps before a lot of these other drivers, so he's in great position right now, but he's got a lot of damage to the front of his truck. He's right there behind Hank Parker. Look at all the damage to the front of that Showtime Toyota. He may have heating problems because it looks like the front end is completely closed off.
Well, Phil, remember last year, he missed.
There he went way high up there, got up in the loose stuff, around he went. That brought off the caution flag. Let's take another look at it. See, there he is way up high, and the loose marbles up there. A lot of the rubber and debris collects up at the top of the racetrack. Joe got up there, and around him could not maintain control. Around him went and brought so many trucks to pit road, so many trucks that I thought were not going to pit. We knew Musgrave was going to pit. We knew Brad Keselowski was going to pit, and Travis Quapple, who was having trouble. But we saw about 12 of the lead lap. Now you can pass a slower truck. There's Bill Lester.
Lester spinning around on the backstretch, and that brings out caution number 9.
I think if I'm Terry Cook, I'm loving these caution flags because it allows my tires to cool off a little bit. I can cool my tires for these few laps under caution and then maybe hold off Dennis Setzer some more, because Dennis Setzer wants that lead.
Just over 80 laps remain in this race. We take a look at why the 9th caution flag is flown.
Bill was right in between Travis Quapple, Mike Skinner on the inside and another truck on the outside. I think it might have been John Wood. Got a little bit sideways, got turned around to the 360. Very little damage to that truck. Little cosmetic damage only.
So we're under caution number 9 at Mansfield Motorsports Speedway. Again, the first race in 50 years that NASCAR has seen in the state of Ohio. And it is going to be a great finish. When we come back, we'll get back to green flag racing. Coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series UAW GM Ohio 250 on Speed Channel is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Caution number 9 for the Truck Series. And this is why. Bill Lester in the middle.
The Bill just got sideways coming off turn number 2. Mike Skinner was on the inside of him. Around he went, 360.
And we'll see that Bill Lester coming out of 2 gets sideways, but then on the inside, Mike Skinner actually gets into him and starts him the other direction. And we're going through 1 and 2 right now.
There's Matt Crafton on the outside in 6th truck. You see Bill just gets sideways. Mike touches him just a little bit, gets him going back towards the outside wall, and just allows Bill to spin innocently down the straightaway without making any contact with either the inside or the outside wall. A little bit of cosmetic damage. That won't hurt that truck a bit. And he remained on the lead lap. But we've had some pit stops here on this caution flag. I was a little bit surprised. There's one right there. It looks like
Mike Skinner.
Mike Skinner in the pits. Looks like he's pulling some sheet metal out where he got into the side of Bill Lester there.
Doing quite a bit of work there. 4 guys trying to pull the sheet metal away from the right front.
Steve Park also pitted. David Ruderman.
Kelly Sutton. Whoa, that was a little bit close. And so some of the trucks have come in, but your leaders have stayed out. Terry Cook continues to lead at Mansfield Motorsports Speedway. Welcome back to the UAW GM Ohio 250. That is the showtime. Line X number 24 of Travis Quapple. This is something we did not see one time last year.
As you mentioned, Rick, only one unfinished lap in the entire 2003 season for our champion Travis Quapple. Now that was a different team, but nonetheless, Travis Quapple, a very consistent up front runner out of the race.
Travis Quapple is standing by with Wendy Norris. Wendy?
Travis, we do not see this from you. I just called you Mr. Consistency at the top of the show. I hope I didn't jinx you. What happened out there?
Well, I think it was a combination of events. I mean, the Showtime truck was running great. We all got together on the front straightaway, and I thought we were fine. I think we poked a hole in the radiator, pushed all the water out. It never ran hot. That's what kind of took me by surprise, but it just started losing power for about the last 50 laps. We just couldn't go nowhere. But before that, truck was running great.
All right, Travis Quapple, our defending champion of September today. Going great.
And they are awfully strong here.
Kelly Sutton spinning around the 0-2, bringing out caution number 10. As we are just coming up to lap 200. That brings out our 10th caution of the day. as Jack Sprague has taken over the top spot again. We have a green-white checkered finish. And a caution has come back out. Bill Lester has spun around in turn 2.
Well, that's going to help these guys. That's going to be a little bit more fuel they're going to have. They don't burn as much fuel on the caution laps as they do on the green flag laps. So each one of those guys that may be a little bit close on fuel mileage loves to see that caution flag.
29 laps to go. We won't see any leaders coming in. We're going to take a short break and come back for the conclusion of the UAW GM Ohio 250 live on Speed. Terry Cook just out in front of Bobby Hamilton, and again Bill Lester spinning and problems. A hard hit. Joe Armendia involved in Chase Montgomery in the 8, having problems on the backstretch.
Caution flags breed caution flags, and looked like Bill had some contact from behind, got turned around, left him in the middle of the racetrack, and these trucks are going so fast down that backstretch. Some hard contact.
We see Joe Armendia moving around, taking the steering wheel off.
Looks like Bill's moving around there too. You can see his head bobbing around inside the truck right there.
Disappointed, very frustrated, getting spun around, and then the cars or trucks coming up behind him, and you see the massive damage to the 8 of Chase Montgomery.
He's moving around also in the truck, so that's a great sign. This was really reminiscent of the crash we had at Atlanta with Tina Gordon, Hank Parker Jr., and Rick Crawford. A truck sitting almost stationary in the backstretch, and these trucks coming along at probably 90 to 100 miles an hour and running into them, making some hard contact.
Steve Park in the 62.
A victim
again.
For the 4th consecutive race, Steve Park has been run into on this racetrack.
Let's take another look at how our 12th caution has come out today in Ohio.
I think Bill Lester's going to got a little help getting turned around there. He wasn't quite able to keep it on the bottom of the racetrack. Look, they're 3-4 wide there. Carl tried to avoid him, and 2 trucks had nowhere to go. The 31 of Joe Armendia, it looked like Chase Montgomery in the 8 truck, had nowhere to go, ran into the side of him. There's Steve there. That's the 78 of Charlie Bradbury. Turn around, and Steve, again, nowhere to go, a victim of circumstances.
Unbelievable, the luck of the Orleans 62.
See another look there. Looks like maybe Brandon Witt might have gotten the back of Bill, turned him around a little bit. Bill tries to keep the truck down on the bottom of the racetrack and did a pretty good job, but they were 3 and 4 wide coming off of turn 2 there, because the trucks that saw Bill spin backed off, and that just allowed all the trucks to just get jumbled up there in a big pile.
You remember Sean Parker making the comment earlier to Ted Musgrave, we don't want to be in the back because we don't want to get caught in something like this. And so the red flag has come out as the safety crews are attending to the problems on the backstretch.
There was quite a bit of debris on the backstretch there because there's so many trucks that made some hard contact with each other. So they need to take time, clean the racetrack up. We want no flat tires, so we have a good almost 20 laps of good hard green flag racing for the win.
Here are the trucks that were involved in this one. Chase Montgomery, Bill Lester again spinning out of turn 2, coming to a stop, and then nowhere to go for Chase Montgomery and Joe Armendia. Steve Park and Charlie Bradbury getting caught up in this as well. Ray?
Well, Rick, I'm down here with
13th caution comes out.
Hank Parker Jr. gets turned around on the front stretch, able to get back going. Going to stay on the lead lap.
And as we've mentioned, the Truck Series will not finish under caution. You will see green-white checkered. So there will be a race to that checkered flag. Jack Sprague, Dennis Setzer currently in the best position to claim that checkered flag. And Jack Sprague hasn't shown so far that he's willing to give up that spot.
And this will be a single file restart. We're inside the last 10 laps of the race. There will be no lap trucks to contend with. Dennis Setzer will have a clean shot at Jack Sprague on this restart. But I think the gamble by Bobby Hamilton to come in and put tires on his truck is not going to work. I do not think he's going to have enough time to get back to the front of this field.
And we thought that was a gamble. Early on, it was so much track position. We were amazed when Bobby Hamilton came in, but almost equally amazed that he's been able to work his way back up to 4th.
Yeah, I was shocked that Bobby came in, and he has done a terrific job to get back to 4th. He has such a good truck, and having more time, he may be able to do more, but it's just 250. Look at Matt Craftsman. When we talked to Wally Rogers a few minutes ago, this truck looked like it had no damage on it whatsoever, and look at it now. Let's take a look and see how this happened, Rick. This is right on the restart. He got into the 30th. That's what sent Brandon Witt up into the wall here in turn number 1. Tough break for both these guys. Brandon Witt had a 7th place run going, would have been his best career finish. And Matt Craftsman also had a good run going. They had a little conversation there coming down right below our broadcast position here. Brandon was not too happy with Matt Craftsman.
No.
But you get inside of 20 laps to go, and just about, as you mentioned, patience goes out the window.
Yeah, these guys aren't making friends right now. They're out there to win this race or to finish as high as they possibly can.
Here they are. This is turn 4 right here. See Brandon Witt's going to pull up beside Matt Craftsman to let him know that he's not real happy with him. He's saying, Matt, I wish you hadn't done that. But
yeah, Matt, I'm sure got the point.
Yeah, but it wasn't intentional. There's no way it was intentional. Matt just drove down in the corner, got into the back of him a little bit. But
hey YouTube, thanks for watching. If you're interested in more content like this, check out our back catalog of videos. We have hours and hours and hours of compilation videos, podcasts where you'll get news, you'll get my opinion on certain things, which who doesn't want to hear that. Check it out. If you would, like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads. We will be making more videos like this one. So, if you're interested, turn on notifications, like, subscribe, the works. And I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. Love you. Peace.